money, it gon' grow. I'm the boss of the game, nickname CEO. They tryna sell peanut, but they know I'm overseas. Private jets, yeah, posted up, Will G's. 100 racks on my lawyer, keep the case closed. 100 racks on my chain, keep my neck froze. Impeachment in the loo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. It is Christmas Eve. You know we got to get in and out. Let's go. You know what it is. Let's get this out of the way. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you all. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it, look at my grass. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome. All right. Here's my favorite part. Here's my favorite part. Here it goes. Here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Listen up.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone to Zeus's last couple of days. That shit was radical.
Very radical.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh! They always say that. They always say that, right? They got a problem. All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back. Good morning, Kabira. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Eugene, good morning. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome, ladies and gentlemen. It is officially Christmas Eve, and once again, we're here to do the real work it takes to save this country of ours from the evil clutches of this knuckle dragger, this knucklehead behind me, who we all know are hell-bent on destroying, honestly, this great country of ours. And we do it one show at a time, all right? But we do is we confront the misinformation and the disinformation in real time, so that no stone is left unturned and folks do not have an excuse on why they end up in hell. A lot of Trump voters, people who voted for Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, are truly, truly going to go to hell. Now, before I get started, W's in the chat for Maureen, thank you. Let me introduce myself. For those of you, this might be your very first time listening to someone like myself. I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is, well, it's because I'm honest. I am the most honest person on social media. Hands down, there's nobody more honest than me. And many of you see it yesterday. You know, I went live and, these Trump people that voted for Donald Trump, I'm going to give them the truth. Listen, if you voted for Donald Trump, not once, but 2 or 3 times, and you lived through Donald Trump's first term in office, I'm going to bust your bubble and let you know you get no sympathy from me, W. Zeus. Because you can't avoid being accountable for your just how did you do it? That's the only question. And until you admit that you were, the best defense is to say simply you were tricked. All right. Outside of that, it's all just a lack of accountability. And I'll say it to them no matter what. They'll get mad at me, but I'll say it and they need to hear it. The second H is because I am humble. Listen, I'm a human being like every single one of you. That means there's a chance I might get it wrong. All right. And when you get things wrong in life, what I've learned over the years, you don't crash out. You don't start accusing people and being a nasty person and calling them names and trying to gaslight them. No, you take accountability and you show a little humility. So the second H is because guess what? In addition to being the most honest person on social media, I'm also, guess what, the most humble person on social media. All right. So that's the second H. And then there's the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which is arguably one of the most important H's of them all. It is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to see all of you. Now, like I said, what we do here, ladies and gentlemen, is spectacular. It's magical. It's sensational. It's theatrical. Honestly, it's diabolical in a way. We hold the mirror up to Donald Trump and his legion of MAGA demons who are hell bent on destroying this great country of ours, and we do it every day. We bring information in real time. And so what I'll say is this: if there's any Trump supporters out there in the audience, are there any Trump voters out there? Anybody? You know what's happening? I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's a lot of people still supporting Donald Trump like there was. You know how they say, oh, he got all these votes back in 2024 when he was running up against Kamala Harris. There's a trend going on right now, and we'll talk about it later. If you're a Trump voter, just zip it right now, because you've done enough damage to all of us in the country, all right? Just zip it right now, all right? Because I'm really here to deliver the some more crushing blows, honestly. And so what I'll say is this: if you can't handle the truth, right? If you can't handle facts about your dear leader, do us all a huge favor, and you go leave this live and hang out with these fake TikTok hosts that are arguing on behalf of your dear leader and lying to you and taking your money, all right? Because they'll do that. Not over here. I'll tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. All right, but get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. Honestly, I can't take any responsibility for the feelings that get hurt, the sparks that might be flying in here, because we're in a dark space right now in the United States of America. And like I've been saying, it's a sad thing, ladies and gentlemen, where we actually have to have day in, day out conversations about whether or not Donald Trump honestly is in the Epstein files, or if he's actually a lot worse. He is the files, right? If you've been paying attention to everything that's going on right now in the United States of America, Donald Trump is literally losing a lot of support. He's losing a lot of support. And I've been at the front seat of this entire thing the whole time, and a lot of you have. We have argued until we are blue in the face, trying to convince those people who are supporting him that their dear leader is an evil, vile, sick, twisted, demented individual, and that they should stop supporting him because in their blind loyalty to Donald Trump, they have, I'll say it, they've caused irreversible harm to the entire world. They have. The reason the world is literally going in the wrong direction is because of the Trump supporters, you know, and I told stories about people who left the United States. They didn't want to be woke anymore. Remember I told you that story? They left the United States. They didn't want to be woke anymore. So they went to the Kremlin and Putin sent them to the front line only to have them unalived. And then his wife said, why did you do that to him? Well, he said he didn't want to be woke anymore, right? And Putin did it as a joke, but it's serious stuff that's going on in this country, ladies and gentlemen. These folks are sick. These folks are demented. So what I'll do is this. We'll get into some of the things that obviously are going on. I'll try to get into some. I'll try to get into some of the things that are going on right now. But I'll just point out that there's been some good news. All right, ladies and gentlemen. One of them has to do with the Supreme Court. Recently, or yesterday, actually, it came out. They rejected Donald Trump's bid to deploy the National Guard to Illinois, which we all know was a bad idea. You shouldn't use you shouldn't use our children, men and women in uniform, to do things that law enforcement should do. So what we'll do is we'll get this on the record, and then I'll do some judgment.
Guard in Illinois.
Hold on.
This from NBC News.
Listen to this.
Headline: Supreme Court rejects Trump's bid to deploy National Guard in Illinois. And that article begins. The Supreme Court on Tuesday rebuffed the Trump administration over its plan to deploy National Guard troops in Illinois over the strenuous objections of local officials.
Okay.
The court, in an unsigned order, turned away an emergency request made by the Trump administration, which said the troops are needed to protect federal agents involved in immigration enforcement in the Chicago area. Although the decision is a preliminary one involving only Chicago, it will likely bolster similar challenges made to National Guard deployments in other cities, with the opinion setting significant new limits on the president's ability to do so. Yes, friends, this will help in Portland, Oregon. This will help in Los Angeles, California, and it will help in every other city and every other state where Donald Trump tries to, overstep his constitutional bounds and militarize.
So I'm going to stop it right there. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All you Trump voters that allowed Donald Trump to deceive you into believing that the president of the United States can just randomly decide to send our men and women in uniform to all the Democrat cities to do law enforcement activity at the expense of some of them possibly losing their lives, like those two that, well, one of them, she lost her life in Washington, D.C. Once again, it's proof that Donald Trump is unfit to be the president of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, should I send Donald Trump to hell this morning for endangering not just the men and women in uniform, but honestly, it's the citizens of the country as well? Why do we have to look at men and women in uniform going, you're just trying to go get a ham sandwich and breakfast. You don't need to see the military, right? So is that worthy of hell? Okay, because I'll be honest with you all. Somebody said yesterday, I guess I was cooking and booking so much, and I'm not going to mention who they are, but they're a total lowlife. I'm suing you, Zeus. I'm suing you. I'm suing you because you hurt my feelings on your show. And so I don't want to do that today because I don't want nobody to sue me. Should I send Donald Trump and his supporters straight to hell? I'll check the audience's word. Should I do it? Because if you tell me to do it, I'll do it. Should I do it, ladies and gentlemen? All I need is maybe a few yeses. Look, Dex. Yes. Send him to hell. Send him to hell. Someone said poor Cosmos. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these crybaby, fake alphas, mentally unstable and deranged lunatics who continue to prop up and support Donald Trump, and they complain to me and complain to you as if they are the victims. You're not the victims. You are the harassers and the abusers. Join me in sending these demons straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus, ladies and gentlemen. So next thing I want to do is I want to call out this moment. Now, there's going to be some curse words. I don't like to use curse words on my show because my audience reaches a lot of people. But in certain cases, I will do it. And I'm doing this to prove a point. And many of you may have already heard it. So this is an audio clip of Nick Fuentes, who we all know is a terrible and disgusting, vile person. But guess what? He's MAGA. He's MAGA. Going at JD, or he's reacting to what JD Vance said about him, which he said, eat something very, very disgusting. And I'm playing this because I have to remind MAGA that this is what you get when you try to go after folks that are on different sides of the aisle and you use hatred. You end up in a situation like this. And so this is Nick Fuentes reacting to the Vice President of the United States.
Now, first of all, I have to say, I really appreciate the invitation. It's very gracious. I've said a lot of negative things about JD Vance. So for him to extend an invitation like that to me, to have dinner, a traditional Indian dinner with him and his family, it actually moved me. It actually touched me a little bit.
Whoa.
I said, I've been nothing but antagonistic to this guy, really unprovoked. I started the beef. And so for him, in the spirit of the holiday, in the spirit of Christmas, for him to extend an invitation in public like that, to enjoy a traditional Indian dinner prepared by his wife with his family at the Naval Observatory, he's a better man than me. He's a better man than me. And I got to give him a lot of credit for that. Credit where it is due. But respectfully, I must decline. That's sort of the whole point. I don't want to eat shit. Kind of the whole point. We don't want them here because we don't want to eat shit. I know they do that in India.
Oh.
I know they literally eat cow shit. I know that they will scratch their ass and then prepare food and eat shit that way also. We don't want them here because we don't eat shit in America.
Wow.
We try to avoid eating shit as much as possible. That's why we wash our hands.
Please keep it clean.
You know.
I gotta stop Nick right there. This is MAGA on MAGA violence. Right here, playing out in real time. This isn't Democrats' rhetoric. This is what happens when you traffic and peddle in misinformation and disinformation. This is what happens when you traffic and peddle in being a terrible, vile, and disgusting creature, and you don't know how to draw boundaries. You end up going back and forth with yourselves because the Democrats clearly want nothing to do with this. Someone asked me yesterday, what are the Democrats running on? That's not even something you should be concerned about. What you should be concerned about is, why do all of these folks that are in the Republican Party keep turning on each other and fighting amongst themselves? Don't bring that juju. Don't bring your bad juju, you MAGA demons, over to Big Zeus and ask me to help you with it, because that train has already sailed. The ship you're on is clearly sinking. And this is we haven't even fully completed the first quarter, MAGA, and all of you are crying and turning on each other. So ladies and gentlemen, let this be a lesson. You reap what you sow. And MAGA is truly reaping what they sow. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. Because guess what? The good book wasn't wrong. A house divided cannot stand. And what you're watching right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the crumbling of MAGA. Join me in sending these demons where they truly, truly belong. Straight to hell. I can do this all day. I can do it all day, honestly.
I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well.
Silence.
Yeah.
You MAGA demon.
There's not, in my opinion, honestly, and I'll say this, and I'm willing to be proven wrong on this. I don't believe there is a Trump voter that's still, if you're still supporting Trump, there's no Trump supporter that will ever make it into heaven. I promise you, because it'll be impossible to do. It'll be impossible to do. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have to once again get started on, guess what? The Epstein files. We're back on the Epstein files.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Yeah, we're back on the Epstein file. Trigger warning. I'll be honest, it's a trigger warning
This
time.
is MacDonald Carey, and these are the days of our lives.
Sure.
Now, could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
I want you all, people say, Zeus, you don't share screenshots. I want you all to obviously, I put this up there. You can go look at these X pages, these X accounts for yourself and verify what I'm reading. But I'm reading this to prove a point. So I'm going to start out with Mike Flynn. Remember Mike Flynn, ladies and gentlemen? After where we're having, we've had a couple of data dumps of some redacted information coming from the Department of Justice about Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And where Michael Flynn is at, and we all know Michael Flynn, in Trump's first administration, he was indicted. All right. Oh, look at that. They're already doing the reporting. Oh, y'all want to report Big Zeus today? I knew I was going to hurt your feelings, but I'll read it anyway. Mike Flynn says, General, he calls himself General, this SHIT has to cease by mass arrest of the upper crust sickos that did this stuff. Okay, I'll buy that Epstein is no longer alive for now. But if a former president or presidents of any other or other elites are part of a child rape and abuse, I'm not someone you want as your enemy. This is what Michael Flynn is saying. There will not be two sets of rules in America. I don't gas who these people are. It isn't about Epstein and the Democrats. It's about child abuse by morally depraved psychopaths who think that they rule the world. They don't. We do. They're starting to realize that this is a lot sicker than what they thought it was. And it ain't about Bill Clinton. It ain't about Joe Biden. It ain't about the Democrats. I'll go ahead and read another one. This is from a woman who brands herself as a patriot. She goes by the name Patriotic Blonde. And I'm going to read this to you all because when I woke up and I read this, I said, "Oh my goodness. We got a code red in MAGAville." And this person, I mean, went to bat for Donald Trump all throughout Biden's presidency. The Patriotic Blonde. But guess what she did yesterday after seeing and hearing from what the survivors had to say? You know what she did? Let me go ahead and play to you real quick because I posted a video of it. Let me go ahead and cue the video of what the survivor, the woman who voted for Donald Trump. Let me play to you what the woman who voted for Donald Trump said on CNN after she's talked to other survivors. And if you pay attention to the clues, she's basically saying, in my opinion, is I've talked to women from different parts of the world because Epstein has thousands of victims. And they've told me things about Donald Trump that have changed my mind about him. Listen to what she says.
Right, just to be clear, in terms of pointing the finger.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And her name is David Robson.
That you have never heard anything to implicate him.
Exactly. It wasn't until I started meeting some of the other women from different countries and different states where I really started to hear their stories. And of course, as a survivor sister and going through what I went through, I do believe these girls.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, I am no longer supporting this administration. I redact any support I've ever given to him, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. I am so disgusted with this administration. I think that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel both need to resign. And I would like to see number 47 get impeached over this. And I'm just waiting.
Ooh.
Should Pam Bondi be held in contempt, you think?
Wow.
She needs to be held more than in contempt. Absolutely.
What do you think made her change her mind, MAGA? Think about it. I'm not going to give you the answer quite yet, but I want to read what the Patriotic Blonde wrote to my fellow Democrats. Please don't celebrate yet. Don't celebrate yet, because this is just a sign that things are heading in a direction that we never thought could happen, but it might be possibly happening. I'll read what she says. Dear liberals, you and I are not friends. We disagree on everything from abortion to the Second Amendment. Your belief system is abhorrent to nearly every personal and political value that I hold. That said, you did try to warn us about Trump. You screamed and yelled from the mountaintops that he was not what he presented himself to be. And I, like many, refused to listen. I mocked you. I laughed at you when he won. I felt entitled to his victory because I dedicated 8 years of my life to his campaign. My eyes are open now. Oh, she's woke. She's woke right now. This is not the man I voted for. When I'm wrong, I say I am wrong. I am sorry. I apologize. What would make listen. What would make someone who invested 8 years of hatred into the Democrats, what would make them say such things? I think she understands. I think she's starting to see what we've all been saying. So W to the Democrats. You know what'll make her change her mind? Well, if you pay attention to what's in the files, MAGA, if you pay attention to what's in the files, MAGA, it's really not that difficult to keep up with. Yeah, let's listen to this.
You're going to want to know about this one. Trigger warning, huge trigger warning. How is contact known? He was orchestrating a deal along with my uncle where different men and a few women and girls would come to a variety of boats and yachts and pay to force me to do blank with them when I was 13 and pregnant. So you see right here, Donald Trump, age 70. It says how contact is known. He participated regularly in paying money to force me to blank with him, and he was present when my uncle, my newborn child, and disposed of the body in Lake Michigan. Trump was present when her newborn child was by her uncle and thrown into Lake Michigan. Let's see how long this lasts before they pull it down.
But yet, this came from the DOJ. But yet, MAGA, and they know who they are. I saw them yesterday holding lives. Snuggles, remember Snuggles? You still support Donald Trump? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Okay. Keep on playing around. Because this is some sick stuff y'all have gotten yourselves into. At least the patriotic blonde, she's starting to realize this might be a good time to get off of that so-called Trump train. Gregory Jones, I hope you're listening. Doozy, I hope you're listening. Marsha, I hope you're listening. Russian Bears, I hope y'all are really listening. Because I'm not going to buy this, oh, I didn't know stuff. I'm not going to buy it because Patriotic Blonde already confirmed. She already heard the Democrats yelling about this from the top of the... Y'all done messed around and y'all done got the Democrat... Good morning, Christina. Y'all done messed around, MAGA. And like I've been saying, you don't want us to meditate on your behinds, MAGA. You don't want us to meditate on your conspiracies because we got way more intelligence. We got way more brain power to actually carry this mission out. And ever since we've gotten involved with these Epstein files, it's so funny how you are all now backtracking and backpedaling. Ain't enough Joe Biden, ain't enough Democrat talking points to keep up with. You can't do anything right now because we are on you like white on rice. And it's just getting started. There's another thing that I wanted to share with you because I'm asking what could make the patriotic blonde turn and tuck tail. And, and so you've heard from one of the survivors, right? Now I'm going to bring this into the record, all right? I'm going to bring this into the record. Tim Hogan. I need you all to go find this man's page on X, all right? And read this all for yourself. So I looked at, and it's just so amazing when he wrote, this is what he posted yesterday. He goes, I posted this over 9 years ago, a month before Trump won. Today, I hear news anchors saying there's no evidence that Trump SA'd minors. This is sworn testimony of an eyewitness, and I'd hate to break it to the fifth estate that is called evidence. So if you go back, he's reposting a post that he posted. Guess when he made the original post? October 12th, 2016. You could go read this yourself. Just go to his page. And I'll read some of what is in there. And Tiffany Doe states as follows. I am a competent adult over 18 years of able age to testify as to personal knowledge. The facts in this declaration are true and correct and to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, and I am competent to testify to them if called upon to do so. I originally met Jeffrey Epstein in New York City in 1990 when I was of the age of 22. I attended a series of parties in that same year of the 90s, where I was paid to entertain various guests of Mr. Epstein. In the year 1991, I was promoted to the occupation of party planner, in which my duties were to get attractive adolescent women to attend these parties. I have a problem with them calling them women, but I'm just going to read it as is, but you can put the pieces together. I was hired by and paid directly by Mr. Epstein from the years of 1991 to 2000 to attract adolescent women to attend these parties, most of which were held at what is known as the Wexner Mansion, located in 9 East 71st Street in New York City. In 1994, while performing my duties as a recruiter of these adolescent women to attend Mr. Epstein parties, I met a 13-year-old adolescent woman, the plaintiff in this matter at the Port Authority in New York City, who said she had come to New York City in the hope of starting a modeling career. I persuaded the plaintiff to attend a series of parties of Mr. Epstein's that took place during the summer of 1994. I told her that if she would join me at the parties, she would be introduced to people who could get her in the modeling profession, and she would be paid for attending. Bullet point number 7. It was at these series of parties that I personally witnessed the plaintiff being forced to perform various acts with Donald J. Trump and Mr. Epstein. Both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein were advised that she was 13 years old. I'm reading this. This is from 2016, but now it's all coming out. I personally witnessed 4 encounters that the plaintiff was forced to have with Mr. Trump during this period, including the 4th of these encounters where Mr. Trump forcibly raped her despite her pleas to stop. I personally witnessed the occasion where Mr. Trump forced the plaintiff and a 12-year-old female named Maria to perform oral on Mr. Trump and witnessed his physical abuse of both minors when they finished the act. I personally witnessed or was made immediately aware of the 2 occasions where my boss, Mr. Epstein, attempted to rape and sodomize the plaintiff. I personally witnessed Mr. Epstein and physically abuse other minor females, even younger than her. It was my job to personally witness and supervise encounters between the underage girls that Mr. Epstein hired. And yes, I personally witnessed Mr. Trump physically threaten the life and well-being of plaintiff if she ever revealed any details of the physical and abuse suffered at the hands of Mr. Trump. And this is a sworn testimony, and I could read the rest of it, but I believe it's very traumatizing. But I'm giving you the X account to go read this for yourself, because they always say, Big Zeus, you don't tell the truth. We don't know where you're getting your sources. Well, I'm giving you a peek under the hood. You can go fact check this yourself. You're starting to understand why some of Donald Trump's most loyal supporters are now turning on him, right, MAGA? You're starting to get it? I bet you I'm pretty sure I look like and seem like the boogeyman to the MAGA right now. They just can't understand how wrong they are right now, propping this demon up. But look at what y'all have done to this country, MAGA. You don't get out of this. You don't get to use an excuse. You didn't know. Now, I'm proud that the patriotic blonde is starting to take accountability. I really am big on accountability. Anybody who does that, you know what? It is what it is. But don't think you're a new person because today you opened up your eyes. Think about all the damage you've done. Think about the fact that this country we have to go backwards in order to fix this situation. And some of this stuff is unfixable. There's people who won't be around any longer. That's something you can't reverse that. Think about all the harm from ICE agents. Like, only an evil person, and Marjorie said this, go read Marjorie Taylor Greene's post. Only an evil person would be okay with sending out the military and ICE to dehumanize someone simply because they believe they're in the country illegally. Only an evil person would do that. And I guess that's really not that evil if you're Donald Trump when you compare it to the things that he may have done with Jeffrey Epstein, according to the information that's coming out, right? Donald Trump probably thinks what he's doing with ICE isn't that bad. I keep telling these folks, a hard head makes for a soft behind. But you know what? Y'all keep praising this man. Y'all keep worshiping this idol of yours, MAGA. You keep on worshiping this demon right here. I got one more story. Remember yesterday I told you the story about the Texas driver that said he overheard Donald Trump on the phone? Remember I told you that story? That came from the I'm not making any of this stuff up. Now, we're not getting clear answers from the Department of Justice, right? We know we're not. The Department of Justice, as far as I am concerned, they're trolling the American people via Todd Blanche, all right? But they don't know what piece belongs where in the grand scheme of things. And so I believe it'll be up to the survivors, some of the lawyers and attorneys of these survivors to help put this narrative together about who did what. Because guess what? Donald Trump, I know this, he's not the only person that needs to be held accountable. We all know that. But the big issue is he's the sitting president of the United States. Bill Clinton has said, hey, Trump, listen up. If we're both playing this game raw, if we're both playing the game fair, put it all out, champ. That's what Bill Clinton is saying. Put it all out, champ. All right, you putting out my business like that. Put yours out too. Let's see who's really doing what. And Donald Trump refuses to do it. And I would refuse to do it too, ladies and gentlemen. If I had unclean hands like Donald Trump, I'd totally do it. So yesterday, and the reason I have this picture up is because it says Dusty Rhea Duke. Some people are speculating, and again, this is speculation, but you need to know that this is out here. They're saying that this perhaps could be the young woman that the limo driver was talking about, and that, we went over this yesterday. And I'll just read some of it, but you could go double check this, ladies and gentlemen. You could go read it. You could go read it. According to available public records, Dusty Rhea Duke was 19-year-old college student whose life ended in January 10th, 2000 in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Her unaliving was ruled an suicide by local authorities, right? And the reason her name is now popping back up, ladies and gentlemen, is because recent documents released in connection with litigation related to Jeffrey Epstein include an unverified claim from a tip submitted in 2020 that tipster alleged, without presenting publicly corroborated evidence, that her unaliving was not a suicide, but rather a homicide staged to appear as one. The claim further suggested a possible connection to Ghislaine Maxwell and asserted that Duke had previously reported being SA'd by Epstein, and guess who? Donald Trump. So add that. Y'all go look into that. And again, for those of you who still aren't convinced, just understand this. While you're playing those games with yourself and the family and your community and the survivors, like Republican ones that voted for Donald Trump, they're turning on Donald Trump and saying they want him impeached and removed from office. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying he's an evil person. The patriotic blonde, full-throated apology to the Democrats because we've been trying to warn y'all this guy right here is bad news, and y'all didn't believe it. But y'all stay on that Trump train. I'm pretty sure that Trump train gonna take you right where you want to be, MAGA. I'm pretty sure. But y'all keep on worshiping him. So what we'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't got all day to play around with these demons. All right, what we're gonna do is go ahead and let this thing breathe a little bit. Where's my friend Lawrence O'Donnell?
But the 10 co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein referred to in some of the Epstein files released today, it is worth considering. What would an innocent person do? What would someone who is mentioned in the Epstein files do if he or she believed that he or she is totally innocent of any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein? Former President Bill Clinton's office put out a statement saying, quote, "We call on President Trump to direct Attorney General Bondi to immediately release any remaining materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of Bill Clinton." And there it is. That is the model for how you handle this situation if you are in the Epstein files and you believe you did nothing wrong. Please feel free to now consider all of the prominent names you have heard this year associated with the Jeffrey Epstein, who have not demanded the immediate release of any materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of that person. Donald Trump has never demanded that. Donald Trump has done everything he could to prevent that from happening. Jeffrey Epstein's biggest business partner, Les Wexner, has never said, "Release everything about me that's in the Epstein files."
That made me think of something. So we all know that Donald Trump claims he's never flown on Epstein's plane. Remember when Donald Trump said that, ladies and gentlemen? Do we have that? Let me see if I got that. Yeah. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So as you can see, this is Donald Trump claiming he's never flown on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane. All right, you could go read this, ladies and gentlemen. And this post, ladies and gentlemen, was on, I believe, looks like, okay, I got the date. January 9th, 2024. That's when Donald Trump said he's never ever flown on Epstein's plane. Let me go ahead and read the full quote. He says, "Now, I want you to keep this in mind. In the backdrop of me reading this, what has now came out is that Donald Trump, according to the DOJ, FBI, actually flew on Epstein's plane way more than he said he did. What's came out since then? So, as we go through this, I want you to keep something in mind about that. He says, and this is what he said in 2024, January of 2024, when he was still campaigning to be the president again in the United States. He wrote, "This is what the Democrats do to their Republican opponents, who is leading them by a lot in the polls. This is AI, and it's very dangerous for our country." Meanwhile, he's done a lot of crazy things with AI since he's gotten into office, right? It's okay when he does it, right? Also, I was never on Epstein's plane or his stupid island. Strong laws ought to be developed against AI. It will be a very big and dangerous problem in the future. So, if you're a thinking person, if he would lie about not being on Epstein's plane, what makes you think he won't lie about going to the island? Or as he calls it, the stupid island. MAGA, let me ask any Trump voters out there. Is there any Trump voters out there that believe Donald Trump's never been on Epstein's plane still? Any Trump voters out there that believe Donald Trump's never been on Epstein's plane still? Say, just go ahead and identify yourselves, you sickos. See, they don't want to come and where the Russian bears? Oh, where they at? Snuggles, where are you at, Snuggie? DJ, remember you said, if there's evidence, Zeus, I'm done with him. So, they don't want to admit, they don't want to say, I still believe he wasn't on Epstein's plane because they got the proof slapping him in their face. Let me ask you another question that's really going to ruin your day, MAGA, right before Christmas. This is the Christmas present. Come close to the phone. Come close to the phone, MAGA. Come close to the phone. Do you really believe Donald Trump hasn't been to the island? Or do you now see what's really happening right before your very eyes? He lied about not being on the plane. But you think he's now honest about not going to the island? I'll go one step further. What would Donald Trump do to prevent the truth from coming out, MAGA? What would he do? You think he would unalive people? You think he would indict Epstein and have him unalived and whacked? You think he could go that far, MAGA? Oh, Donald Trump, he would never unalive anybody. What do you think those military strikes in the Eastern Pacific and in the Caribbean are all about? He's sending a very clear message. What do you think January 6th was all about? He's sending a very clear message. He doesn't mind unaliving anyone if it means protecting his behind. His own vice president, women, children, immigrants, he doesn't care. You? Oh, remember the Butler incident, MAGA? Remember Butler? Yeah. Now you got to start putting it together. Because if the Democrats been right about Epstein, think about all the other things we may have been right about, right? Oh, yeah. You don't think Donald Trump would stage an attempt like that to get y'all to be sympathetic towards him and support him and get him back in the White House so he could continue to cover up his crimes? You don't think that's something that didn't cross his mind? I guess the question isn't, did he do it? The question is, do you think he would do it? That's something for y'all to answer, MAGA. But the writing's clearly on the wall, and you just don't want to see it. But I'm going to make you see it. Oh, yeah. Remember y'all was crying about Sleepy Joe? I mean, this is going to go down. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I was thinking about it. This is going to go down as the biggest stain on the United States of America. This really is. And to all the Trump voters that voted for him, I get it, the accountability thing. But once this is all said and done, there needs to be a reconciliation period. A lot of y'all got to zip it. If you really care about the country, you got to shut down your social media pages, and y'all got to go do some real soul searching and real work on yourselves, and ask yourselves, and make sure you go get some group therapy together. I don't know if there's I'll open it up. I'll open up a MAGA rehabilitation center for you if that's what it takes. But y'all got to start realizing that y'all are the ones dragging this country backwards with your ridiculous nonsense. Again, I know a good back and forth political issue. I know that. That's not what this is about. This has truly became about good versus evil, MAGA. And for some strange reason, a lot of you so-called Christians allowed yourselves to truly become vassals of transgression. I've never seen anything this disgusting in my life.
And he is not saying it now, after his name emerged today in a 2019 Justice Department email titled Co-Conspirators. The email described attempts to subpoena the list of co-conspirators, which included Ghislaine Maxwell. A legal representative for Mr. Wexner told the New York Times that he was not a target of the federal investigation or considered a co-conspirator. He provided federal prosecutors with background information on Mr. Epstein and was never contacted again, the representative said. So, I guess that settles that. If a lawyer for Mr. Wexner of Ohio says he did nothing wrong, that must settle it. I would love to have that lawyer for Mr. Wexner of Ohio join us here on this program and tell us whether he responded to a grand jury subpoena and whether he testified to the grand jury. I'd love to have Mr. Wexner of Ohio come here and tell us all about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, which no one has ever been able to understand or explain.
Yeah.
Mr. Wexner is so much richer than Jeffrey Epstein could ever have dreamed of being, and no one's ever figured out why Les Wexner would be in business with Jeffrey Epstein in any way. So what was that all about? And we patiently await Mr. Wexner's lawyer issuing a statement saying that they demand immediately the release of all information in the Epstein files about him and any photograph of him in the Epstein files. We patiently await that moment. There is no indication that Donald Trump was on the list of co-conspirators, but here's what Donald Trump said about Jeffrey Epstein's most important co-conspirator after she was convicted of sex trafficking with Jeffrey Epstein?
I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is.
Wow. What? Explain that, MAGA. Why are you wishing a criminal well? I'll tell you why. Because in my opinion, because you got to qualify everything these days. Because what we're saying, and listen, what we're or not even exposing, honestly, what we're highlighting on this show, ladies and gentlemen, it terrifies MAGA. It's terrifying. Am I right, Ange? Am I right, Kabira? Every single word being uttered about Donald Trump and his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Heaven, am I right? It terrifies MAGA. Am I right, Jesse? Yeah. No, I'm not at McDonald's. You hear the garbage trucks, Jesse. Cut it out, please. But it's a good ear. You have a good ear. What we're saying is terrifying to MAGA, and it should. Because think about the damn... Right, Diava? Thank you. Right, Rick? It's terrifying. Honestly, it's very difficult for me to go through this content on my own and then have to, try to validate it and check it. And you just start going, and you go, this is sick. And I just can't help but ask myself, like, why are we even having to have this conversation? And I get it. We got to right this wrong in the United States of America, all right? My heart does truly go out to the survivors, all right? And the victims and the people who are in the shadows who won't even speak on this because they are truly terrified. They're really the ones that are, struggling. But for me, I'm going into a place I never, ever imagined I'd have to go into. And it's all because the President of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the support. Thank you. It's all because the President of the United States of America has a nefarious association to Jeffrey Epstein that he has never been transparent with the American people about. And things have now escalated to the point where we've actually, think about this. And I was talking to myself about this. I've been saying this administration, this Congress has been the most unsuccessful Congress of my lifetime. That's what I've been saying. But I said, you know what? That Epstein Transparency Act, the way that thing got passed, that's pretty darn impressive, to be quite honest, because that was something that had a lot of support. How it happened was, the crazy part, but that had a lot of support, and that thing flew through the House, flew through the Senate, onto the president's desk. That thing hit him so fast. That thing hit him so fast. He didn't even want to do a press conference about it. He's like, y'all gonna do me like this? I'll sign it. No, and went on about his life. He said, "Oh my gosh, they're not playing here in the United States." Oh yeah, that happened in this Congress, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're at this point where it's now something we actually have to have a serious conversation about in the United States of America. Are you for being a P3DO or not? That's where we're at right now with each other. This is crazy. You now have to set aside, like Donald Trump likes to say, hold on. You now have to set aside your issues about abortion, AB, your issues about immigration, and your issues about tariffs and stuff like that. All that's been set aside right now because now everyone wants to know when they engage and have a conversation with MAGA. So let me get this straight. You support P3DOs. No, I don't. What? No, I don't. Yes, you do. Why would you say that? I could support, I had a conversation. I could support the president and not align with him morally. Okay. Well, how are you going to expect him to keep his word if he's not a moral person? That's where it all starts. Trust is where everything starts. You go into a shop, you go into a business, you got to trust the people you're giving. They trust you to give them the money. You trust them to deliver on whatever it is you're paying for. That's how this system works. If there's no morals, then what are you doing? It doesn't work like that, MAGA. So y'all got y'all have a real crisis
Yes, he did see her numerous times over the years. New information from the Epstein files today revealed that Donald Trump flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane in the 1990s more often than he has ever admitted. In fact, Donald Trump has told the lie that he never flew on that plane. At least 4 of the Trump flights on the Epstein plane included Ghislaine Maxwell among the passengers Donald Trump was flying with.
Yeah, I can stop that right there. That's why he wished her well. She was on the plane with him when he was doing it. Simple. It's always the simplest explanations tend to be the ones that make the most sense. It's very simple. He bet not make her upset, because if he makes her upset, she's gonna run. She's gonna spill the beans on this man, and he can't have her knocked off and whacked like he did Epstein, because that's gonna give the game away. It's simple, MAGA.
Donald Trump wishes Ghislaine Maxwell well. Donald Trump did not issue a statement today demanding the immediate release of any remaining materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of Donald Trump. Another email about co-conspirators released today said, quote, of the 10 co-conspirators, 3 have been located in Florida and served grand jury subpoenas. 1 in Boston, 1 in New York City, and 1 in Connecticut were located and served. 4 of the 10 are outstanding, with attempts having been made. 1 is a wealthy businessman in Ohio. The remaining 3 are currently out of pocket. The team is flying out tonight, tomorrow, to various locations in Florida to interview approximately 25 victims. If you were a wealthy businessman in Ohio who knew Jeffrey Epstein and you think you did nothing wrong, wouldn't you release a statement today, just like Bill Clinton's, demanding the release of any materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of yourself?
Absolutely.
Les Wexner is a wealthy businessman in Ohio and has not released any statement like that. If you're one of the prominent people living in the Boston area who has been publicly associated with Jeffrey Epstein, wouldn't you release a statement today demanding the release of any materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of you?
Absolutely.
If you thought you did nothing wrong, Bill Clinton is the only person mentioned in the Epstein files who issued a statement demanding the full release of any remaining materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of Bill Clinton.
So Bill Clinton is the only one, MAGA. This is how y'all keep getting caught. You keep bringing up the people that you think you got, but all it does is make matters worse for you.
And so, investigative reporting will continue about the possible 10 co-conspirators.
Let me get to my favorite
More
part.
released documents by the Trump Justice Department might eventually identify those co-conspirators. But if you are a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein's, your life changed today. And now it is only a matter of time. If you are a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein's, you should know tonight the clock is ticking on your secret. If you are a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein's, you should know tonight that you have a rendezvous with the truth coming your way. Thanks entirely to a law passed by Congress to release the Epstein files, a law that could only be passed not because any billionaire wanted it, but could only be passed because the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, who are now the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, brought the moral clarity to Washington that demanded the release of those files over Donald Trump's objection. Those files have been released and will continue to be released over the objection of Donald Trump's Attorney General, Donald Trump's FBI Director, Donald Trump's Deputy Attorney General, who is Donald Trump's personal criminal defense lawyer.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am now going to do another round of the Lake of Fire and then move on to the next part of my show. But I hope you all learned something very, very valuable. All right. Why is Donald Trump making this process so difficult? And I think it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Yeah, I can't put my hand on. I can't say it is this, but I'm saying it's not looking good, MAGA. It's really. And remember, I used to make those videos. Snuggles, are you still here? When I used to say, and this is, it's over, MAGA. It really is. Remember, I used to make those videos, Reggie? Remember that, Heaven? And at the end of every video, I would say, it's over, MAGA. It really is. I didn't know I was ahead of myself. I was prophesying things that I didn't see, but it's really over, MAGA. And guess what? You worked for this. You. Because of the evil hatred inside of your filthy, ungrateful, vile hearts. Because of your worshiping of Donald Trump, your abandoning of the teachings of Jesus Christ in the Bible, the real Bible, not the one Trump sells. Y'all have now dug in a ditch and have fallen. You're falling into the ditch. Help! I've fallen. And I can't get up. Life Alert commercial. You know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up this much needed lake of fire. I'm so glad, Shay, you were here when I created the lake of fire, right? I am so glad I was blessed with good common sense to create the lake of fire so that I could individually throw these demons where they belong. Where are you throwing them, Zeus? Where are you throwing the MAGA demons? Of course, you throw them where? Straight to hell! Put your face all the way in it.
Silence, you MAGA demon!
I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well.
Silence!
Put it in there again.
MAGA demon!
W to the survivors, honestly, for helping to bring this moral clarity, all right? And W to Big Zeus, and W to all of you. Honestly, it really is painful at times to do this show sometimes, because there's sometimes I'm just like, you know what? That's just way too much. But, you know, in the spirit of things that are happening around us, ladies and gentlemen, I feel it is very, very important that we do get the truth out there and continue to expose it in real time. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially time for me to move on to the next part of my show, where I interact with anybody, honestly, any brave guest who is any guest who's brave enough to get in the box and you know, tell the truth, so to speak. All right, because what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen, in my honest opinion, is getting the word out to everybody that is willing to receive it. I'm trying to find something for myself. Hold on, I know I had something. Oh, never mind. All right, all right. I thought I had it, but I guess I don't have it. All right, we'll move it along, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, are there anyone out there that supports Donald Trump? Please send me a guest request, and what we'll do is we'll get you in the box. All right, and we will try to have some civilized conversations about what's happening in your neck of the woods. All right. So go ahead, and if you're accidentally in my guest request, do me a favor and please hop on out. All right, because I don't want to mix you up with anybody else. Hold on just one second. All right, all right. Let's see. Do I have it right here? Okay, there you go. Okay, I got it right there. All right, hold on. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a PSA announcement that I ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. I haven't left you. I haven't forsaken any of you, please. All right. Now, I just wanted to make sure people have this. Maybe it will work. Maybe it won't work. Darn it, it doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen. Never mind. I thought it would work, but I don't know. I was trying to put Attacking's P.O. box up. All right. If you're trying to send our good friend Attacking, who we all know is fighting the good fight, we have a P.O. box that you can send cards to him. I thought I had a screenshot of it, but it doesn't work on my. You want that? Yeah. I thought I had a screenshot of it, but I guess I'm not doing it right. As the, you know, it's one thing when you're hosting a live, and but if there's anybody actually out there that can bring up, does anyone have the screenshot of Attackings? Anyone have it? I'm so sorry to make you come up here if you do have it. Why can't I open up the guest box, ladies and gentlemen? Goodness gracious. Let's see. All right. Well, I will say it. What is the update with him? Well, let's see. Let me bring up a guest, ladies and gentlemen. All right, hold on. I'll bring up my good friend, Brother Nutty. Wow. If you have it, please type it in the comment section. All right, maybe that'll help. Why can I control my live right now? Nutty, are you there?
Yes, I am. I just
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Hey, I just I'm spamming it in the comments.
Oh, you're gonna put the attacking's mailing address. I'm sorry, attacking. I tried to do it over here, but I guess I'm really not that good at hosting and screenshotting like you are. But you have great people here. Oh, Nutty, you just shared it?
Yeah, I'm spamming it. If somebody else can pick it up and spam it as well.
Good job. Yeah, we're trying to get the word out. This man is well deserving of the love. And if anyone says anything vile about attacking, or anybody really that's, you will be blocked, all right? So that's a W, Zeus. Sorry about that.
Zeus, may I thank you for picking that up and spamming it, you guys. But can I go back can I rewind the clock 48 hours ago?
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been in your box now for 48 hours. And it was for this reason right here that we're speaking about. Our friend attacked.
Is that a TV in the background?
Oh, sorry.
Is that Fox News?
No, my little one's watching.
Oh, okay.
She's watching the Grinch.
All right, fair enough. You got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. So I was in the request when 5X made the comment that he made, and then I got out of the request box because in that moment, not only would I have taken down your live, I would have lost every account known to man on TikTok. That's how angry I was. That's how angry I was, because to disagree in politics, it's one thing. To disparage another human being, it's another. There are people on here that I absolutely deplore, like Snuggles, like the Bears, like 5X. But I never, and I want to make this absolutely abundantly clear, if they were going through just an iota of what attacking is going through right now, what constrains me more than my hate for their politics is the fact that they're human beings. And that should be our moral compass right there.
Thanks.
To stop rhetoric and to show empathy, because at the end of the day, we are, especially people who call themselves followers of Christ, we are supposed to be our brothers and sisters' keepers. That is 100% scripture. We're supposed to be our brother's keeper. And the fact that 5X, and y'all, for the moderators that are in here, he's currently in here under your majesty. For anyone to speak ill of another human being, especially one that we have grown to love and know, it's just abhorrent. It's one thing when we watch it on television and see it in our streets with what this administration is doing. This hits home because we know who this person is. So I'm going to end that right there. I also wanted to give a big shout out to Takesha. Takesha, thank you for getting in the box and saying what you said about Kabira. And Kabira, I hope you are here, because this thing that's going on with attacking, you have become someone that we know and that we love, not just in the kingdom here, but anytime we see you, we love who you are as a person. So, Takesha, thank you for just making Zeus play the birthday song, because we want to give you flowers while you can smell them. It makes no sense to give you flowers when you can't see or smell them. Let people show you love while you are here on this earth. While you are here on this earth. And I love your sentiment, your sentiment about, I have everything I need, just give it to attacking, give it to attacking. That's great. That's wonderful. This is the reason why we want to celebrate you. Because of that spirit right there. Always thinking of others before you think of yourself. When you put your mother on this app to let us hear from your mother, that brought tears to my eyes because it reminded me of my grandmother who was no longer with us. You gave us something that a lot of us, we don't speak it, but we feel it in our hearts. Just hearing from your mom, because it made us feel like we have a part of our grandmother again. I'm speaking for myself right now. So Takesha, thank you for that. And Zeus, thank you for listening to Takesha and not listening to Kabira. So I guess the message today is give people their flowers while they're here so they can smell them and see them.
Amen. Amen. W Nutty. Hey, Kabira, you inherited this family and this community, so you're like me in a way. We just got to take the good and the bad that come with it, but understand that everyone that does things and says things, not 100% of the time, mostly they're saying it from a good place. Maybe they're not saying it right, but it comes from a good place.
I'm going to end my rant right here. I'm just going to say to all 1.5K people in the chat, Merry Christmas.
That's a good way to end it. There you go.
Let's not forget what Christmas is all about, especially for those of us who are believers. We are celebrating our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. To those of you who don't believe the way that I believe, you know, I'm man enough to say happy holidays to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not about forcing my beliefs onto you. It's not about forcing my beliefs onto you. So, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If you're Jewish, happy Hanukkah. For people who celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa. And at the end of the day, I'm going to end. This is the last thing I'm going to say. In the words of the late Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Amen. W the Nutty. No lies detected. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to every single person. That's what this is about. We spread love, not hate on this platform, all right? So let's keep this going, all right? I want to keep the holiday spirit going. I don't even, honestly, I think we're literally at a point right now where it's really nothing else left to debate, honestly, right? I mean, what are we going to have a conversation about? You know, come in the box, debate me, and then what do we talk about? And it just spirals into pure nonsense. It's really a clear question now. Are you still supporting the P3DO or not? If you are, you're a disgusting human being, and there's nothing I can say at this point to help you see what's really going on. All right. I mean, this is just how I see it. I mean, I might be wrong, but there's just way too much information out there for a lot of you to just still be out here worshiping this man. Good morning, Brother Swerve. How are you? It's your birthday cue, dog?
Good morning, Zeus.
Wow, yes.
Good morning, Zeus, and good morning to all of you beautiful, tiny people living in the kingdom.
Yes. Good morning. How are you doing, bro?
I'm hanging in there. I got I got some things going on, making some things happen here and there while I still contributing to my community.
Good.
We got them in the past 2 weeks. I managed to be able to get to the Columbus, Ohio homeless shelter.
Okay.
I managed to get them about 190 pounds of food.
Good.
And a lot of that is, turkey, yams, potatoes, some canned goods, stuff like that. So I think they're going to have a pretty good Christmas. I'm pretty pleased with the outcome of what we've done. So yeah, very thankful and happy for that.
Wow.
And I want to, I've always given much love to my brother Attacking, my honorary veteran, as I would say. And so, let's keep donating and reaching out and making sure he's got what he's needed as he's going through the most difficult time of his life, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so Zeus, you know me a long time, and I've been on this app for 6 years now. And people who know me know that I'm very good at pointing out the hypocrisy of MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can point out some more hypocrisy for you. Okay. If we jump into the Wayback Machine, you know, I love getting in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Me, you, Sherman, Mr. Peabody, the whole kingdom. There's plenty of room in here for all of us. And we jump back a few years, back to 2019, the 2019 campaign. And MAGA, boy, they came out of left field.
Sure
Robert
did.
Byrd was the Grand Dragon of the Special K. And he was Joe Biden's best friend. But they never really did anything to go and look. And, you know, if you actually look, you would discover that, you know, Robert Byrd was in and out of the Special K by the time he was like 21, 22 years old. Then he continued to do the work. He got accolades from the NAACP. He got accolades from the Anti-Defamation League. And him and President Biden became good friends.
Yeah.
But Biden was a racist because he was guilty by association. Right? That's what they said. He's a racist. And then they took the they want to throw y'all back in change comment. They took that and threw that all out of context.
Oh.
But when Donald Trump and that Access Hollywood tape came out where he said grab him in the genitals, well, now we needed context. When he said he had sex in common with his daughter, now we needed context. Okay, well, he was just joking. What kind of sick man would let that thought go through their head about their own daughter? You know, we needed context. When he said he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle, and we gave them the context, they didn't care.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he was guilty by association because he was friends with Robert Byrd. MAGA, you bunch of whiny snowflake hypocrites. Why isn't Donald Trump guilty by association? Because he was really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Why isn't he guilty by association? Dame, why isn't he guilty by association, Dame? The Russian Bears, Admir. Oh, I'm calling out Admir because he's still hanging and running with the same knuckleheads that he's been hanging and running with.
He's trying to do better.
I love you, Zeus, but I got to disagree with you, brother.
Fair enough. People are free because I don't run a dictatorship in the kingdom. People think
when he sat there next to Janae, and she said she had a great recipe for any immigrants running away from alligator Alcatraz. Guess what Admir said?
What?
Nothing. Didn't say nothing. Didn't check him. He never checks him. So yeah, I'm calling him out too. I'll call all of them out. Jammin' Delulu.
Ooh.
I'll call all of them out.
Well, you know these people personally, and you're saying this based on your own personal experience with them, not because I twisted your arm and told you, right?
No, it's got nothing to do with you. This is what I've watched them do. I've seen Jammin' Delulu's deranged videos where he's out there having a mental meltdown. But somehow we're the ones that are always triggered and upset, right?
Yeah.
Somehow that's always us.
He does a good crying chair videos. When he cries in that chair, I tell you, you should check it out. It's truly hilarious. W Swerve.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's insane. But I just love pointing out that. Oh, and let me point this out. Not a single one of these little whiny snowflakes who claim that they have the testicular fortitude to take any one of us down on the street.
Yeah.
They are such cowards, they won't even come to my live and get in the box. Well, and Dame, I can speak personally from Dame just a few days back when he came into my live and I sent him a guest request and he denied it and wouldn't get in the box. Because I would have called his punk ass out too.
Oh, that's strong language, brother.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Mama Zeus. But I would have called his fragile, weak-minded behind out too. After the way I've seen him go after women on this app and black women, and then sit here and claim that he cares for black women, man, you can miss me with all of that garbage. Every bit of it. It ain't a dump truck big enough to hold it.
How did we get here as a country? This is sad. It's so sad that we're here, Brother Swerve, right? It's so sad that we're going at each other, and It's like Donald Trump and his party are profiting off of the hate. What does that say? What does that say based on your understanding about how things are in this country that Donald Trump is doing? Is he really helping this country, or is he making matters worse?
No, he's actually making matters worse. And today in my live, we'll be holding Women's Wednesday. And I've already pulled videos of just pure women complaining about the situation that they're in. But you know what's even sadder, Zeus?
What's that?
Every one of these women voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them voted for him. And now we look at Michigan potentially going to be out 800,000 jobs by the end of next year.
Oh.
Because of his BS tariffs and the Medicaid and Medicare cuts. Okay. This is the crap that they will sit there and go, well, what was inflation in 2021 when President Biden got in office? Who cares? We're beyond that now. When President Biden left office, inflation was at 2.4%.
Yeah.
Now it's up at 3%. And I see Dame's ridiculous behind sitting there going LMFAO, right? But remember, Dame, you were the one that held it live.
Oh.
Because President Obama said maybe you should go out and get a friend in the queer community. That way you could learn some empathy.
Oh.
Or you could learn some sympathy. And you know what Dame's weak-minded behind said?
Wow.
He said
praise Obama. He said Obama is right and that maybe I should take some lessons from Obama.
No, he didn't say that.
Oh.
Dame said he felt President Obama was challenging his sexuality.
Dame wouldn't say that.
No, he absolutely said that. He said
President
Obama was challenging the sexuality of the black community. I sat there and I listened to that live. President Obama was challenging the sexuality of the black community, which he never said that. He never even called out a race. He called out a community and said, go and get one of these people because they can teach you some sympathy. They can teach you some empathy. And Dame is sitting there questioning
crazy work.
His weak-minded behind is sitting there questioning his own sexuality because somebody made a speech. Somebody made a speech. Dame, you do not speak for the black community.
You took that away.
You don't. Because I'm gonna tell you right now.
Hand it to me then. I'll take his card. Give it to me. Thank you, Swerve. He just took it.
You're very welcome, my brothers. Put it on the shelf with all the other ones we've had to collect.
Got a nice collection, yeah.
I have never listened to anyone make a speech and influence the way that I think. I go and do my own research. I get that primary, that secondary, those tertiary sources, and I do my own research. But we never see these people out there doing the work. They talk a good game.
They do.
But we never see them sitting out there doing the work.
Hands need to be on the plow like a real man.
Right on, brother. Get on that plow, push it, pull it, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And as dilapidated as my physical condition has left me, I'm still doing the work.
Amen.
It gives me purpose to get up in the morning and put in the time, the effort, and do the work.
Yeah.
Because it's not for me. I believe the people in my community are worth it.
Amen.
But you'll never see me come on here and brag about, oh, we went down here and we did this and we did that. I don't even make videos about it. Because it doesn't need to be for public broadcast.
Yeah.
But that's who I am.
Amen.
Okay. So yeah, I'll put in that work. I'll put in that time and that effort.
Yeah.
I don't see none of them doing any of it.
I don't see a word. I don't see any effort. W, brother, swear.
And Zeus, as you mentioned earlier, and I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm not gonna pull a nutty and say this is the last thing I'm gonna say and then drone on for another 10 minutes.
He does do that.
I'm not gonna nutty up your live, but I'm gonna say this. It's been a bad year for me, and it's also been a good year. I've had my ups and I've definitely had my downs when it came to my health issues. But the love and support that I have received from the kingdom, and my other friends and family here on TikTok have just been incredible, and I want to thank each and every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, Passover. What's the other one called? Seder. I don't know.
Hakuna Matata, right?
Hakuna, all of those good things.
There you go.
And hopefully we can have some more good things in 2026.
Amen. Yeah.
And having said that, I want to wish all the beautiful tiny people living in my telephone and living in the kingdom a great holiday season. Spend time with your family, hug your kids, touch some grass. You all be well. You all be safe. And doggone it, have fun while you do it. Thank you, Zeus.
Amen. W's in the chat for Brother Swerve, no lies detected. Now listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We have a bit of a kingdom crisis. And I just decided I'm going to do it because we're on the verge of Christmas Eve and I can't do it. For some reason, the gifting is suspended. Under normal circumstances, it would be whatever, but we have a birthday to celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with me. We're going to do a quick restart. I don't know what's happening. I think the content that I cover is so dark on TikTok that I don't know, or maybe it's just the Riz because I am the Rizzler, right? So bear with me. We'll be right back. All right.